Have you and your partner ever had the same fight more than once? Not a similar fight, the exact same one. Same trigger, same word, same silence after. And each time it happens, you think, here we go again. Or maybe it is not even fight. Maybe there's something quieter than that. Maybe it's just the feeling that somewhere along the way, you two stopped really connecting. That you love each other, but something between you feels stuck. Like you're living side by side instead of actually together. And the question that sits underneath all of it, the one most couples are afraid to say out loud, is this: are we okay? Or are we just used to each other? That question deserves a real answer. And that's exactly what this video is about. Today, we're going to talk about something most relationship content completely skips over. Not how to communicate better in theory, not a list of tips to try tonight, but the actual reason couples get stuck in the same cycles. Why knowing what to do doesn't always mean you can do it, and what this generally looks like when a relationship starts to turn around. Because here's what I see over and over again: couples don't fall apart because they stop loving each other. They fall apart because they never learned how to repair. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what that means and why it changes everything. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a relationship that looked completely fine from the outside and felt completely alone inside it? Not because your partner was cruel, not because there was no love, but because something between you felt disconnected, like you were living parallel lives instead of a shared one, like you could be sitting in the same room and somehow still feels miles apart. And the question underneath all of it, the one you might be afraid to say out loud, is this: is this just what long term relationships feel like? Or is something actually wrong? That question matters. And the honest answer is this connection is not the destination, it's a signal. It's your relationship telling you something needs attention. Not that it's over, not that you choose wrong. Just that something somewhere broke down and hasn't been repaired yet. Here's one of the most important things to understand about relationships. The patterns you experience in love are almost never just about what's happening right now. Think about the last time you got triggered by your partner. Maybe they went quiet and you immediately felt abandoned. Maybe they raised their voice slightly and you completely shut down. Maybe they need space and you become anxious, desperate for reassurance. And then maybe hours later, you look back and thought, that was way bigger than the situation called for. You're right, it was. Because when we get triggered in relationships, really triggered, we are almost never just reacting to the present moment. We are reacting to every moment that felt like this before. The childhood home where silence meant danger, the parent whose love came and went without warning, the ex who left without explanation. All of that lives in the body and it gets activated automatically, unconsciously, when something in the present reminds us of the past. This is not weakness, this is not immaturity, this is called being human. So here's the question I want you to start asking, not just about your relationship, but in the middle of a conflict. In the moment when you feel that surge of anger, or hurt, or shut down, the question is this: am I reacting to what's actually happening right now, or am I reacting to what this reminds me of? That question creates a pause. In that pause, you get a choice. You can respond to your partner or you can respond to your past. Most people, without realizing, spent years responding to the past, and their partner spent years wondering why they can never quite reach them. I think about a couple together for 6 years. From the outside, they had everything: good jobs, a home, friends who describe them as perfect relationship. But privately, they were exhausted. Every conversation about anything real ended in either a fight or a silence that lasted for days. And one of them said something to me that I haven't forgotten. We love each other. I know we do. But we have no idea how to talk to each other anymore. And that's the thing. Love doesn't disappear overnight. What disappears slowly, quietly, without everyone noticing, is the feeling of safety between two people. The sense that I can bring this to you and we'll figure it out together. When that goes, when people stop feeling safe enough to be honest, they stop bringing this real stuff and they start performing a version of relationship instead of actually living in it. They become roommates with a shared history. So why do people stay stuck in these patterns? First, because pattern is familiar. Even painful patterns feel like home when they're all you have ever done. The anxiety, the walking on eggshells, the emotional distance, it's uncomfortable, but it is predictable, and predictable feels safer than the unknown. Second, because vulnerability feels dangerous. To break a pattern in a relationship, someone has to go first. Someone has to lower their wall, say the thing they have been holding, risk being seen. And that requires trust. But trust is exactly what's been eroded. So people wait for the other person to go first. And both people wait and nothing changes. Third, and this is the biggest one because most people don't know what repair actually looks like. They know how to fight, they know how to go silent, they know how to say sorry, even if it doesn't quite land. But genuine repair, the kind that actually rebuilds something between two people, that's a skill. And most of us were never taught it. Here's something that might be uncomfortable to hear. The thing that keeps most couples stuck isn't the conflict itself. It is what happens after the conflict. Most couples fight and then they just move on. Time passes, things calm down, someone makes a joke, life continues. And they call that resolution. But here's what actually happened: they survived the conflict, they didn't repair it. There is a massive difference. Surviving looks like this: the tension fades on its own, nobody really addressed what happened, the issue gets dropped, not resolved, and a small residue of hurt stays behind. Do that enough times, and the residue builds up. And one day, something small happens, something genuinely small, and one of them completely loses it. And the other one thinks, this is about a dish in the sink. Why this is such a big deal? It was never about the dish. It was about every unrepaired moment that came before it. So what does real repair actually looks like? Real repair acknowledges what actually happened. Not just, I am sorry, I got upset, but I understand why that hurt you. I see what I did. Real repair makes room for both people, not just the person who won the argument. Both people's experience gets to exist. And real repair reconnects before it resolves. Most couples try to solve the problem first, but repair actually starts with reconnection, with the feeling of we are still okay before we even get to the solution. And here's the thing about repair that changes everything. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real. A clumsy, honest attempt at repair does more for a relationship than a perfectly worded apology that doesn't actually mean anything. Because what your partner needs, what every person in a relationship needs, isn't perfection. It is knowing that you will try. Before you go, I want to leave you with a few honest questions. Sit with these. Really sit with them. When we fight, do we actually repair or do we just wait for the tension to pass? Is there something I've been holding that I've never fully said out loud? Do I feel like I can bring the hard stuff to my partner or have I learned to just carry it alone? When was the last time we felt genuinely close, not just comfortable, but actually close? Am I in this relationship or am I just managing it? There's no shame in whatever comes up. These are brave questions, and asking them is already a kind of repair. Here's what I want you to take away today. If your relationship feels stuck, if the same arguments keep happening, if connection feels harder than it used to, that is not the end of the story. Patterns can change, trust can be rebuilt, connection can come back. But it doesn't happen by accident and it doesn't happen by just waiting. It happens through repair, real, intentional, honest repair. And that is exactly what we're going to dig into next time. Not just what repair means in theory, but what it actually sounds like. What do you say? How do you start? What do you do when one person wants to repair and the other one isn't ready? That's coming next. And if your relationship needs it, you don't want to miss it. Before you go, drop a comment and tell me this. Do you and your partner repair after conflict? Or do you just move on and hope it gets better? I want to know because the answer to that question tells you a lot about where things are headed. And if this video helped you, share it with your partner, watch it together. Sometimes the conversation a couple needs to have starts with a video. See you next time.